Okay, hi. Recently I read some books, and one of the book I feel like there's so much content into it that I want to talk about it. This book, there's some things I learned from it, some things I completely disagree, and some things I feel like, I agree with it. And so I want to talk about it. This book is called Good Economics for Hard Times, written by Esther Duflo and Abhijit Banerjee or something like that. Anyway, it's basically talking about economics. I'm just gonna freestyle it, just talk about anything I remember. There was a lot of content. So first content that they talk about is immigration. Like a lot of people saying that rich countries shouldn't have a lot of immigrants because immigrants are taking away jobs um, of local people, and local people don't have jobs anymore, and it's a disaster for local people. And the authors don't agree with it because they think that uh, like for example, like stores that like people who provide services are supplies, right? And products in the store are supplies. Okay, my hands are so big on the screen. And people who want to buy things are demand. People who want to use services are demand. And they say that like immigrants, even though they are taking up supplies, like they're taking up jobs, they are providing services and doing stuff. They are taking away some of the jobs that local people used to do. Um, but then there also create demands because they are there, they want to spend money, they want to use services, so they also create demand, and their demand may some can be use like works from local people. Then they created jobs for local people, and some they created jobs for people in their own ethnicities. So even though the supply went up, the demand also went up. So he says that's like equal, but then I think that like so also he was saying it to anti-Trump. He really don't like Trump, but I kind of like Trump. I don't judge me for it. I know a lot of people judge people for liking Trump, but I think that Trump is not saying, because the author thinks that he even wrote in his book that Trump just disagree with immigration, but I think Trump do welcome immigrants, but he just don't like how some illegal immigrants who's not legally to work in the country is creating problems, because they're not legal to work, so they might commit more crimes than people who's legal to work in the country. So they want everybody to come into the country legally so that they will be contributing to the country instead of creating problems. So that's what Trump is saying. So he's not disagreeing with like immigration. He just want everybody to come in legally, but somehow the author took it wrong. He think that Trump is against immigration as a whole because he think that immigrants is fighting like jobs with local people and is taking away local people's jobs, and he's explaining that local people jobs are not completely taken away by immigrants. And I don't disagree with his argument. I think he just understood Trump wrong. So first point. Secondly, he was saying about trade war. He was saying that um, right now, like the tariff in China for like USA stuff in China is about 200%. So the US product in China is extremely expensive, and Chinese people will not buy US product because of it. On the other hand, US took Chinese tariff is only like 5%, and and this way Chinese product is really cheap because there's really low tariffs, like tax. Tariffs are tax. And so that because there's low tax, that's why it's cheaper, and that's why US people enjoys buying Chinese products because it's a better price. So he just think that it's unfair that China have so much tariff and the US have so less tariff, and Trump just want it to be equal. And so that's why there's a trade war. But the author interpreted wrong, thinking that Trump just think that Chinese product is taking away local people's jobs again. And then so he was saying that like some jobs are already taken away. The manufacturer for some of the product is closed down, and it does cause some people to lose jobs. But then China is also buying a lot of farm products from like US people, and that when there's the trade war, so China's adding even more tariff on top of the tariff it already added on like farm product, and now like US farm people now don't even have jobs anymore, and there isn't enough time for the other products manufacturer to open again, so it caused like US economics to have a panic attack because Trump is having a trade war going on. But I just think that if you fight for the right stuff, like it is unfair that China's having so much. I'm Chinese, and even I think it's unfair that China have such high tariffs and US have such low tariffs. It's just unfair. Now, like back then it happens because US wants to help China, but now China's doing so good. Maybe we can make it a little more equal. Maybe China have like 20% tariff and US have 10%. So like China's still not as rich as US, so they can have a little more tariff, but US also increase it a little bit, so it's more equal. So I think Trump is doing the right thing. He's demanding the right thing, but like in short term, there are going to be some panic attacks in economics, but for the long run, he stood up for the country, and he is like trying to do the right thing, even though right now there might be some losses. So he's making a hard choice, which I respect because he stood up for his country. And I think that the author interpreted Trump's intention again. So the third thing he talked about is the environment, which I kind of agrees. He was saying that a lot, environment and also basic needs, which is some parts that I agree with the author, because he was saying that so right now, because developing country is using like bad environmental stuff, like for example, their air conditioner is really creating a lot of pollutions, and like right now rich countries are trying to go green with the air conditioner, and I agree. I think rich countries should do that. It's saving the planet. He said each year the 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 global warming, the temperature goes up by 1 degree. Okay, not that's too much. He says in 10 years it will go up by around 1 to 1.5 degrees in 10 years, and they're trying to 2 degrees I think, and they're trying to reduce it to 20 years, increase by 0.5 degree or something. Like they're trying to slow down the global warming by trying to encourage India, like countries like India, to use clean air conditioning. It's gonna cost more money, but it's saving the people. So they're trying to encourage, and they're thinking of ways to encourage the entire world of people to use clean energy, like solar system, or all sort of like clean kind of. They're thinking of different ways to encourage it. Maybe like reduce tax for people who buys clean air conditioning, or like you know like government give incentives for people who use clean product. And I think that is a good idea. I think the world should be saved, and I think global warming should be trying to reduce. And so I agree with that part. And they're also saying that things like African countries have malaria and stuff, and we are helping them. Last time I watched like some documentary about Bill Gates, like he's doing like charities that's not just giving money, but he's building a system in trying to think of ways to like reduce malaria in African countries, or like poor African countries, not the rich ones, and also to like make sure that everybody have good toilet, so that all the like dirty stuff like poop and stuff and pee wouldn't go directly into clean water, and then everybody drinks bad water and they get sick. So they're trying to like like have good like environmental stuff. It's also the environmental stuff, and also to reduce people getting sick. And I think that's like good things that's going on. And he's encouraged, the authors encouraging more stuff on different aspect of helping poor countries, like in that aspect, to help their lives to be better, to help them leave the things that rich country already don't have problems at all. So that's another point that I like. And another thing he went through that I completely disagree is welfare. That he thinks that every rich people have to pay tons of tax. Like, okay, now there is tax issue. So he was saying in rich countries, how to help people, poor people, is to give them welfare, which I completely disagree, because welfare, it reduces people's dignity. You should help them find jobs instead of giving them a little bit of money. They cannot live a really good life. It's eating everybody's tax, and at the same time they are feeling like insulted. I'm sure on the inside they won't feel that good by taking the government's money and cannot find a job. So I think you should encourage them to find a job instead of giving them tons of like welfare. And also he was saying how to give them welfare. Okay, here's what he said. I completely disagree. He's like, in some rich countries, um the top 1% rich people, they give out 70% of their income as tax. So I was like, okay, they're that rich, they have billions of dollars. I guess if they earn like maybe 10 billion, then if they can reduce it, they have like 3 billion into their pocket, still 3 billion. I guess like that kind of makes sense. And then he's like, but then that's not enough. Also, the sort of rich people who earns like a few $1 million, or the middle class, they have to pay a lot of tax too, so the welfare can be better. Then I was like, then who wants to work anymore? Who wants to work hard? Oh, like the middle class works so hard so they can buy a fairly okay house for their family and pay their bills, and now they're paying tons of tax so that the people who's not working and cannot find a job and will not want to find a job, because they know that if they find a job they're gonna pay tax, and they're working the middle class work their ass off so that they can pay tons of tax, and their life is super difficult and miserable, and they cannot save up to buy the stuff they want to buy, and they're like, and all the money goes to the people who don't work. This is just unfair. So I completely disagree with the author's point on this. And then the author also says, like, um, uh, countries like Switzerland did this experiment that in 1996 they charge everybody 15% tax, and then in 1997 they don't charge tax. In 1998 they charge 15% tax again. In 1999 they don't charge tax again, to see if people don't work as hard as they do, like when they don't charge tax and stuff, to see like if you charge tax, it's gonna discourage people to work hard. And they find there's no difference. And I'm just like, okay, these people, they need to pay their bills. Like, just having 15% less tax or 15% more tax is not going to drastically change their financial status. They still need to pay their bills, so they have to work hard even if you charge them tax. It's not like, oh, like if you charge them tax, they like, or don't charge them tax, their life's going to be different. Of course, if you don't charge them tax, they're going to be much happier. They're going to be able to save up much more, but they still have the bills is a big part of your life, that even if you charge or don't charge tax, they still have to pay their bills. So like, I'm sure that when they don't charge tax, their life is much more happier. So I seriously don't think this experiment really means anything. And okay, so, and then there's another content part, that the last content part I want to talk about is some good stuff, some good programs. For example, he was saying that in France there are some programs that's really good. It's like good welfare, like not exactly welfare. It's like to help people that like for people who couldn't find jobs for like 4 or 5 years, like long-term unemployment people, they will give companies up to $18,000 if the company is willing to long-term start hiring a person who haven't been employed for 4 to 5 or even longer years. Um, if the company is willing to hire them, give them a chance to work and to hire them long term, then the government is going to incentive them to give them around $18,000. And I think it is really this is much better than straightforwardly giving poor people like money. It's like encourage them to find a job. Like, so I think this is a good program. So overall, I think there are some good points and some bad points in the book. And then in the end, the author said he wrote this book because he wants this world to be more dynamic, full of opportunities, and people want to look for jobs, that people is opportunities everywhere for people to look for them, and everyone's motivated to work, everyone's like getting so much stuff, and then everyone's like having new ideas and want to open up business, and this world is so dynamic, so energetic. So he wrote this book to encourage a world like this, which I think is a really good intention. And then he just said something completely turns me off. He says that, but then we have to save the world from how it is to a world that he wants it to be, which is very dynamic, so that we should stop some disasters like Trump from getting power by like change the system. And I was like, Trump actually worked hard because he wants a world that's so dynamic. And I was like, Trump is right in front of your eyes, that is good for the world, and is like trying to achieve the world that he wants, and he couldn't see it, and he think that Trump is a disaster. So I just think that I like his ideas, but I just think the ideas of having a better world, but I just think that he misunderstood Trump and also the welfare part, like, or like some parts like I don't agree with. I think he is not encouraging people who's strong to work harder and encouraging people who's weak to become stronger. And I think we should motivate people to be strong and work hard instead of motivating people to not work. So overall, like I did learn like things like different kind of programs that they give and different like world issues, but I disagree with some of the ways that he was like talking about like how to solve these things and how to create a more equal world. Like, I think we should create a more equal world by motivating people to work hard, to make sure that, to give them opportunity that they can work hard towards a more equal life instead of like giving them free money. So, okay, I talked so much, it's like 20 minutes already. So, anyways, I hope you enjoy my like I share this book's information. Hope it motivates you to want to read this book and see if like you can learn something from it too. And bye.